Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched was so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Hey, Gary.
Hey, Steve.
How are you?
I'm doing good, and it's great to be here tonight with everybody in the community.
Yep, here we are in my backyard, different than we would like to be. We would all love to be together, talking about the wonderful world of Federation. But here we are, and it's a different type of evening, and we know you're going to enjoy it. Before we continue, we would like to have a moment of silence. 19 years ago tomorrow, 81 residents of Rockland County perished in the 9/11 bombings. And we'd like to have a moment of silence for them. And also we'd like to have a moment of silence for all the people, not only in Rockland County, but in America and the world, that has been lost from COVID-19. You know, one of the lessons that we had with COVID-19 is realizing how much food insecurity that there is, not only in Rockland County, but in Israel. And it's a word I really got to know in that people need food. And even the people that we thought would never be in worrying about where they're going to get their next meal from are now worried where they're going to get their next meals from. We helped the Holocaust Museum with their Cafe Europea, Jewish Family Services, and in Israel. And now you're going to hear from Maria, Lauren, and Andrea on how Federation helped these Rockland and Israel organizations cope with the coronavirus.
Hello, my name is Maria Dowling. I'm CEO of Rockland Jewish Family Service. For the past 6 months, our offices have been closed, but our agency continues to be open to meet the needs of so many of us who have been negatively affected by this pandemic. For those who are experiencing the emotional and psychological trauma of this crisis, we have been providing online counseling for children and families and phone support and case management for our frail homebound seniors. For so many of us who have been experiencing food insecurity due to this crisis, we have been delivering food on a weekly basis, door to door, with the help of some volunteers, and running a drive-by food pantry every month, providing food to anyone in need in the community. We have also been able to tap into the talents of some of our staff at our Lillian's Cafe and have been making homemade soup and delivering it to Holocaust survivors on a weekly basis. Thank you so much to Federation for your ongoing support. And thank you to all of you who have donated your time, your money, and your resources to supporting our community during this crisis. We truly couldn't do it without you.
Hello, my name is Lauren Yoked, and I'm the Executive Director of American Friends of Leket Israel. I want to thank all of you, our friends of the Jewish Federation of Rockland County, for your longtime support of Leket Israel, Israel's national food bank and largest food rescue organization. We rescue 40 million pounds of fresh excess produce and cooked meat meals each year and redistribute it to 200,000 Israelis in need per week. This year, everything has been turned upside down by the pandemic. When Israel first went into lockdown and restaurants and hotels shut their doors, our sources of cooked meat meals quickly dried up. We don't typically purchase food, but we quickly pivoted and began buying 12,000 meals per day, as we could not bear to let vulnerable and isolated Israelis, many of them elderly, go without fresh food. Conversely, we saw a huge influx of fresh produce coming in from farmers as businesses all across Israel shut down and subsequently canceled their produce orders. We are seeing a 100% increase in demand for food assistance in some locations, and we expect this to continue as unemployment skyrockets and more families suddenly become dependent on organizations for fresh food. But we are hopeful for better days ahead, and we thank all of you for your generous support.
Hello, my name is Andrea Winograd. I'm the Executive Director of the Holocaust Museum and Center for Tolerance and Education located on the campus of Rockland Community College. On behalf of the board and staff of the Holocaust Museum, we would like to thank the Jewish Federation and Foundation for funding our Cafe Europa on the Go program. Cafe Europa delivers food to Holocaust survivors who are housebound due to COVID-19 pandemic. We deliver food weekly to minimum of 25 Holocaust survivors in the county, food ranging from eggplant parmesan to salmon, whatever delights they would like. In addition to that, we deliver masks and some PPE to them and love letters, letting all the survivors in the community know that we are there for them. Thank you again, Jewish Federation and Foundation of Rockland County.
I'm Carol Blau. I was previously the Jewish Federation president a few years back, and I am going to continue to make my yearly donation to the Jewish Federation of Rockland County because I feel so strongly about the many needs that the Federation is meeting through its annual campaign. One of the greatest needs at this point, as many of you know, is the need for food. There's so much food insecurity in this community and Israel as well. And that really moves my family, and therefore I feel very strongly about giving to the Rhoda Bloom Food Pantry through Jewish Family Services, which is one of the Jewish Federation's recipient of the annual campaign. In addition to giving to JFS, we also give to Leket, which is the National Israel Food Bank. I hope you will continue or begin providing an annual donation to the Jewish Federation and helping people in need more now than ever.
We all know how difficult it is to have our kids at home during this pandemic. Imagine dealing with that on a very, very large scale. Taking care of kids is one of the prime issues that Federation has dealt with during the pandemic. I'd like to introduce you to 3 organizations that work with children and are beneficiaries of the Federation annual campaign. I'd like to introduce the Jewish Community Center right here in Rockland, Hillel at Rockland Community College, and Kfar Silver, a residential school in Israel. Here are their stories.
Hello, everyone. Mentioned I'm the CEO of Kfar Silver for the last 6 months. I retired from the IDF as a lieutenant colonel almost 1 year ago, and I moved into education immediately. It was a very easy path for me since I worked also in education while being in the army. When the corona started in Israel in the beginning of March, it was in the news, and we felt it like it's a big catastrophe. In the beginning, we closed the gates of Kfar Silver, and it was like a very closed and kept compound. We didn't let nobody in the in the village, and we didn't let the children and the staff, also all the workers, to go out. The only one that came in the village were people that were kept in isolation in their own homes. And when they came to the village, we measured the body temperature and etc. And we managed to keep everything very safe while the corona disease spreaded in Israel during March and April. Since they opened everything in May, life became quite normal in Israel and also in Far Silver. And we thank God for that, because we know in many countries, people are in a lot of stress and they are still closed in their houses and in their apartments in big cities. But we were very lucky that we can roam around the huge and beautiful compound that we have.
So over the last 6 months, Hillel of Rockland has had to pivot like everybody else has. We are not open at the campus at Rockland Community College, but we've been very active with our virtual programming. We committed to have 2 Zoom events in the beginning of Corona, and since then we transitioned into some hiking and some biking events, which were able to have more room and be socially distanced. And over the last couple of months, we have had events at our home, which thank God has a very big entertaining space. We've had things like an outdoor movie night. We watched the Frisco Kid. We've had a tie-dye making night. We've had a sing-along night. We've had a talent show, all different things. What's really important about doing all of these events is that we have a community of students, alumni, and their friends here in Rockland, and we need to keep them together, and we need to keep them positive despite the situation. And there has been big challenges to mental and emotional health, but through our programs, we've really seen our students be able to get through these challenging times.
Hi, I'm Eka Peck, President of the Board of Hillel at Rockland Community College. I'm here this evening to say thank you to the Jewish Federation for the help and support it provides the hundreds of college-aged young people and students through Hillel's programs. Hillel is a worldwide college and university-based organization. It provides a Jewish home for college students, some who are away from home for the first time in their lives. Rabbi Dov and Chevy Oliver, Hillel's professionals, are always available to provide guidance, help, and most of all, friendship to the community's young adults, no matter what, no matter when. They make a critical difference. I know all of this because I am a proud alumna of RCC and that very Hillel. 10 years down the line, and I still benefit from enriching and fun Jewish life activities that I've shared with countless friends, family, and even my colleagues. I want to thank the Federation for its support and ask that all of you join me in supporting the Jewish Federation's annual campaign.
So summer 2020 has not been one that we would have planned to look this way. Living through a pandemic, we still had the opportunity to provide a summer camp program for our children in our community. It has been fun, it's been necessary, and the campers have had a wonderful summer, being able to be silly, being able to laugh, to play, to run outside, to swim, and it has been an honor to lead the program for this summer. We thank you, Federation, for all of your support. We really couldn't have done it without you. So it's such a pleasure to see the faces on these campers. The smiles are contagious. The love of being outdoors and just playing with their friends and being with their friends. It's truly magical for them. It's so necessary for kids to be able to unplug and be part of their summer program and have memories with their summer friends.
I'm Miriam Pedler. I'm the Early Childhood Director at JCC Rockland's Denver Koenig Early Childhood Center. We reopened, I should say, on June 15th for essential workers. We opened with 13 children in 3 classrooms. This was a very exciting and emotional moment, not just for us, but for the children who were really looking forward to getting back to being with their friends and being with their teachers in a space that they felt safe and comfortable. Throughout the summer, if you were here, you would see children both adhering to the guidelines, that they had become familiar with in June. Part of our procedures might be increased hand washing and disinfection, maybe keeping the static groups further apart than we typically have them during the school year, but really making sure that that the kids feel a sense of security and consistency in the midst of their worlds changing so much. We are always incredibly grateful to the Jewish Federation of Rockland County for the unending support of our early childhood program, and we wish everyone safe and healthy school year.
One of the things we learned about the coronavirus, it did not make anti-Semitism disappear. What it did is made anti-Semitism worse. Once again, the Jews were to be blamed for another thing. And with all the hate that's going around in this county, the Rockland Federation's Community Relations Council, or CRC, has been very active in monitoring social media. And we'd like you to hear the stories from our two co-chairs, Rich Levin and Evan Karchevsky.
Hi, I'm Rich Levin, and I'm proud to be the chair of the Community Relations Council of the Rockland Jewish Federation. The Community Relations Council, or CRC, is the advocacy arm of the Federation. And we at the CRC work very hard on behalf of Jewish interests here in Rockland, and particularly also in Israel. Recently, we've been meeting with candidates for Congress and for the state legislature, at least those candidates that have agreed to meet with us. And in those meetings, we share with them our concerns about issues relevant to the Jewish community, issues like opposition to the BDS movement. And we express to them how important those concerns are to us, but also to them, if they're going to be representing us. We tell them that we're going to be watching them, we're going to be holding them responsible, and we expect them to hold up to the promises that they make to us in those meetings. The meetings have been very thoughtful and useful interchanges of ideas. And then we follow those up by having access to those officials and to other local and state and federal officials so that we can pick up the phone and say to those officials, we have an issue here and we want you to do something about it. And they listen to us. And we've been very effective in getting them to change positions and to help us out, to provide the assistance. Some of what we do is very obvious, like the big rally we had after the horrific attack, Hanukkah time in Muncie. And much of the work that we do is behind the scenes, and it's not so obvious, but it's equally important. And that important work on behalf of the Jewish community here, the Jewish community in Israel, is why we think that it's vitally important that you continue to support Federation. Thank you.
I'm Evan Karchevsky, and I'm on Federation's Community Relations Council. As members of the CRC, we closely monitor social media, both locally and beyond. Unfortunately, over the past several years, anti-Semitic rhetoric on social media has become more and more pervasive, especially on Facebook. Facebook community groups, media pages, and politicians' accounts based in Rockland County and the surrounding areas have become hotbeds of hate and anti-Semitism. They often operate under the guise of fighting over development or preserving the quality of life in their areas. When we see something, we say something. The CRC works with organizations like the ADL and the Simon Wiesenthal Center to hold individuals, groups, and social media platforms responsible for blatant hate speech. It's important for online instances of anti-Semitism and hate speech to be reported to those organizations for statistical purposes. It's also important that hateful posts and comments be reported to social media platforms so they can be tracked and hopefully removed. We also work with state and local politicians, leaders, and lawmakers to strive for closer monitoring and adherence to rules when it comes to hate on social media. And when we see chatter that appears to be violent or threatening, we alert and work with local law enforcement to make sure that those instances are investigated and dealt with. The members of the CRC are familiar with the local landscape when it comes to hate expressed towards the Jewish community in Rockland County. We know the players, we monitor them, and we hold them accountable.
Hi, I'm Dustin Hausner. This is my amazing wife and partner, Michelle Hausner, and my incredible daughter, Mia Hausner. We're very proud to be residents of Rockland County and to be active in our Jewish communities. However, one of the big concerns I have is anti-Semitism. Whether it is what happened recently in Muncie, whether it's some of the horrible things that's said on community pages, whether it's all the terrible things and challenges happening in the world today. That's why I think it's really important, and why Mia and Michelle thinks it's really important to support Jewish organizations. That's why I hope you will support the Jewish Federation of Rockland County. That's right, Mia. If fighting anti-Semitism is a hot-button issue for you like it is for me, be like me. Give to Federation now. Go to www.jewishrockland.org/sept10 or click right at the donation button. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you.
The most important role of Federation is keeping the community together, building that platform where all organizations and individuals can come together to share common concerns. I'd like to now introduce Rabbi Ben Sharf and Lance Gilden, who are going to tell you more about that.
Good evening. I am Rabbi Benjamin Sharf. I'm the rabbi of the Reformed Temple of Rockland. I also have the honor of serving as a president of the Rockland Board of Rabbis, as well as serving on the Federation's Board of Directors. I am very pleased to share with you the great collaborative work that has been going on between the Federation, the rabbis, and our congregations. In the past year, the Federation has been there to help us with security advice and grant applications. Federation was there to help us with the financial havoc that was wrought by COVID-19, and Federation was also there to help the community rabbis in addressing the human toll of the pandemic through professional training. Federation has been our partner in these and in so many other areas, which has helped bring the community closer together, especially through community weaving, as well as our ongoing fight against anti-Semitism in this very county. Given all that Federation has done and continues to do, especially in these uncertain times, we have increased our gift to Federation for 2021, and I encourage you to do the same. Thank you so much for your time.
Hi, this is Lance Gilden, a board member for the last 2 years of the Jewish Federation and Foundation of Rockland County, and vice president of Temple Beth Shalom for the last 6 years. I'm here today to say a few quick things about Federation. Federation plays an important role in bringing the community together through community weaving. This allows the Jewish community throughout Rockland to interact with like-minded Jews without the constraints of when, where, or how one practices their religion, but through the common bond that we all have of being Jewish. Federation has led the way and funded the Life and Legacy program and had a very successful first year. I know this intimately, the Life and Legacy program, as I am the head of our synagogue's Life and Legacy committee and experienced firsthand hardworking congregants and myself who helped us to begin to build the endowment which will create long-term financial security for Temple Beth Shalom. Federation helps synagogues get security grants, apply successfully for the Payment Protection Program via multiple webinars and consistent, up-to-date, accurate information that made what started out as a daunting task much easier to navigate through, more importantly, to realize a successful outcome. Federation brought in a consultant who helped Temple Beth Shalom, New City Jewish Center, and Nanuet Hebrew Center understand how best to collaborate for the benefit of our memberships. The collaboration has led to a richer Jewish communal experience for all of the members involved. If keeping the community together is a hot button issue for you, like it is for me, be like me. Give to Federation. Give now. Go to www.jewishrockland.org/September 10th or click right here below the donate button.
My name is Melinda Levin, and I want to tell you why I support our Jewish Federation and why you need to support our Jewish Federation. I support our Federation because they work tirelessly to fight anti-Semitism and bigotry. They work tirelessly to bring our Jewish community together. They work tirelessly to have a safe and secure community for our organizations. They work tirelessly for our synagogues. And our federation steps up to the plate all the time to support Israel. But that's why it's so important to me, and it's so important to you. Right now, there's a button right below. Click on that button. Make it so you can protect yourself, your families, and the Jewish community. Please. I thank you. The Jewish community thanks you. Our federation thanks you. We all thank you.
Thank you, Melinda, for those great words. This is the end of our evening. Gary and I want to thank
you, Steve.
everybody for participating. Again, this is very strange times in our lives, but we're all trying to make do. As we rehash what we discussed, don't forget, Federation is there when there's food insecurity. Federation is there for Israel. Federation is there for anti-Semitism. And so basically Federation is here, there, and everywhere. But without your support, Federation will be nowhere.
Thank you, Steve. If what you've heard tonight are hot button issues for you, there's a button below on the screen. Please press it and make your annual campaign gift. Thank you all for being here. Cantor Barry Kanarak is going to lead us now in the Song of Hope, Hatikva. Thank you all.
Kolot baleva penima nefesh Yehudi homiya ulfaratei mizrach kadima ayin letzion Sophia od lo avda tikvateinu hatikva bat shnot alpayim להיות עם חופשי בארצנו ארץ ציון וירושלים להיות עם חופשי בארצנו ארץ ציון וירושלים